Hi, wanted to give some facts on the difference between albino Doberman and dilutes. Now, an albino Doberman is a result of two mutations, on the SCL45A2 gene, which is responsible for a form of albinism in Doberman. This has also been observed in humans with the same type of mutation. Now, this is an incomplete form of albinism, per se, in that they don't have red eyes, but they do have the classic pink skin, and there can be some melanin left in the fur, and the hair, resulting in either a complete stark snowy white to a dusty, very light khaki, kind of a dirty cream white color. Often albinos are called creams, and yes, that can be an accurate color description, but the actual scientific classification of a white Doberman is an albino. Now, with the dilute litter I have on the ground now, I'm getting questions now, and I'm going to continue to get questions on why breed dilutes. Now, blacks and reds are the two standard colors you think of when you hear of a Doberman. Most people think of the classic black with rust, or if you're more familiar with the breed, you'll think of the black or red or brown color with rust or mahogany markings. Now, there are two other accepted colors per the Doberman Pinscher Club of America. That is blue, which is the dilution form of black, and fawn, which is the dilution form of red. These are acceptable and necessary colors in the breed standard. The reason they are necessary is dilutes are responsible for around 30% of the breed's population genetics. Now, as a breeder, you have to consider more than just your individual dog's genetic testing, health results, and what that dog offers. You need to think past a pedigree even. You have to be looking at what we call population genetics. Now, if you haven't studied population genetics, then I highly recommend you do it. That is a key component that many breeders today are missing out on, is population genetics and maintaining that population diversity. Now, with dilutes, the acceptable and standard way of breeding a dilute is to breed a standard color to a dilute. There is no scientific backing that breeding a dilute to a dilute produces inferior coats. That is a breeder myth. There is literally no science behind it. In fact, what many canine biologists and even high up researcher type of breeders have said is to breed a dilute with a good coat to a dilute with a bad or inferior coat. So I follow the traditional standard. Again, no scientific backing, but I follow the traditional standard of breeding a dilute to a standard coat, or breeding two standard coats that can produce dilutes, if I will even consider producing a dilute litter. In this case, the dilute litter I have complies to the Doberman Pinscher Club of America breed standard. These dogs are of excellent genetics. Their genetic and breeding ratio is estimated at only 28%. The breed average is 43 plus. This is an all-American breeding, so I was able to get a low COI, diverse pedigree, diverse genetics, and a rainbow litter. Dilutes are essential to the breed. They are an accepted breed color, and there is a myth that dilutes and whites are the same thing. They are not. There is a myth stemming from the 70s and 80s when the blacks and reds were the most popular, that dilutes are less healthy. This is not true. Any Doberman, regardless of their color, with the exception of whites, I'll get to that in a second, any Doberman is prone to the breed standard, or the breed health conditions and breed dispositions. Now, albinos are prone to more skin cancer, more eye issues, more skin issues, and even temperament issues. Some of them, any type of white animal is actually prone to this that lacks melanin, such as like Dalmatians and breeding Merle to Merle. But you can have a condition called extreme white that can cause blindness and even deafness. There are white Doberman that suffer blindness and deafness, whether it be adult onset deafness or later on. So it is something to consider when you're breeding, to breed at least to avoid those Z-factor lines and to avoid those white Doberman. Otherwise, dilutes are an essential and accepted part of the breed standard.